All right, I'm gonna try to mirror the video. Your viewers are now. I don't know if the video's mirrored or not, but we'll go ahead and try to kick off the program. The question we're going to be asking today is, does skin color matter in 2022? We've obviously evolved well beyond slavery or civil rights or any of that shit to the point where we now consider ourselves living in a society of equality. But yet you often hear racial conversations come up. So that's a question we're asking bluntly. In 2022, right now in current times, does skin color matter in America anymore? Or are we in a post-racial country? Because it is no shortage of African Americans in particular, but people of color also. But there's no shortage of African Americans that often cry racism on a host and variety of topics. Are they getting it wrong? Are they making it up? Are they using it as a crutch to play victimhood? That's what we're going to be asking, but I want to get it from the folks. I want to run it by you guys. Do you believe in 2022 in America, race still plays a significant part in how folks are treated? That's a simple question because there is no denying that whether it's folks on the right or folks on the left, we have individuals claiming there's a hell of a lot of division in this country, but where is it coming from? Why are we still bringing up racism in 2022? Is it a legitimate cry or is it a crutch? Is it something the Democrats are trying to sell minorities for votes? Or is it something the Republican Party is trying to ignore for personal gain? Look it in the comments. Morning Donald a lover. Social media amplifies it. I do agree with that, Stevie D. Any major topic that's in the news, social media is always going to amplify. And by the way, folks, tap the screen, get your boy up to 5,000 likes. As you may be able to tell, this is a MAGA-friendly program. I do not ban, block, or censor anyone for their commentary if you come in the box. As always, I'll give you plenty of time to state your point, and if you disagree with the host, nobody gives a damn. Without any fear of censorship, banning, or blocking. That's how we do it here. First Amendment, free speech rights reign supreme. Media political race baiting does. The people are past race. Crack pipes. Friend of the program, good to hear from you again. So are we in a completely post-racial society? Is it something, when you refer to the division, is it something that we can blame literally all on the media? Is all of the division in this country coming from, say, the media and politicians? Are we to believe that if you left the citizens up to their own devices, you got rid of the politicians and greatly reduced the media, are we to believe in that environment people would become unified? Is that the way we believe, that it is the politicians and it is the media that's dividing everybody, and if you left them alone, they would all unite? I don't know if I believe that. Not a member of either political party. Both use people in order to gain their agenda. Hayward, I do agree with that. I certainly agree with that. Would it be racist if white people had white music awards? Buzz, 1-333. In regards to television stations such as BET, NAACP awards, and all types of other issues that are particularly labeled to be tailored toward people of color. Would it be wrong if the white folks did the exact same thing? Well, when you look at organizations like the Grammys, the Tonys, the Oscars, the vast majority of the time these organizations have been in existence, all of the folks winning the awards were white. Do you really have to call something white? When everybody winning the awards are white, do you really have to label it? It's pretty obvious that's what's going on. So I don't necessarily know if I agree with your point that it would be racist if a white person did it, because that's exactly what has been happening. The BET channel, for instance, that wasn't created in a vacuum. That was created because there was a belief that black folks were not getting any type of airplay for their television programs. If a black producer came up with a screenplay, none of the mainstream networks would take it. But the BET channel would start accepting some of that stuff. Same thing with the HBCUs or the NAACP, Southern Poverty Law Center, a lot of this stuff. It was created because if you don't go there, nobody else is going to deal with you. But when the country was founded, even though we knew the president, the Supreme Court, gubernatorial jobs, whether you're mayor of a town, all of that was off limits to people of color, but they didn't call it a white presidency or a white governorship. You just knew it. So I don't know if the naming alone tells the entire tale. All right, going to the box, it is Car Wash. Good afternoon, Car Wash. If it allows me to bring you on, there we go. TikTok is always acting funny. So what do you think, Car Wash? Good afternoon, by the way, and happy holidays to you.
Hey, thank you, sir, and happy holidays to you as well. I'm
Absolutely.
white. I grew up in the South, and like all the things that Black people are upset about, African American folks are upset about, it's true. It happened. I didn't participate in it, and I'm talking about in my lifetime. In my lifetime, I knew real racist people, right? Um, However, in my personal life, I've moved on, right?
Mhm.
I don't. I'm not a racist. But I feel like when I say I want to just move on, there are folks on the other side want to say, no, we can't move on until this and until that. And I'm like, but I can't do that. I can't,
Well, let
I
me give
can't
you.
change the
Let
world.
me
I
ask
can
you.
change
Let's
myself.
go in depth with it. When you say coming from the southern part of the country in your lifetime, give me an example of some racism that you saw. And I'm asking you this because I want to tailor it to the part where you're talking about moving on. So, give me some of the racism that you personally saw in the southern part of this country.
Whites only and blacks. Oh, I'm 48, by the way. Whites only and black only work groups. So blacks were the carpenters, whites were the pipe fitters, blacks were the roofers, whites were the sheetrock guys. I mean, literally saw to me, hiring someone, segregating the way people work together. I saw that in my lifetime. You don't see that
So,
anymore.
so if a white person during your lifetime wanted to be a black person rather wanted to be a pipe fitter, you're saying that they would not have been allowed to be that?
That is correct. That
Wow.
is
Okay. And the reason I'm asking you is because you said, you're trying to move on and people are saying, but we got to get past this or that. I think the issue is exactly what you stated. It happened in your lifetime. And that is like telling someone who was at the World Trade Center on 9/11, you need to get over this. In my opinion, the folks who are victimized by this stuff need to die off. As long as they're still alive, telling them to get over it is probably going to be a difficult task.
Oh no! Oh, I totally agree with you. I listen. I would have if I'm gonna say this about myself. I'm poor white trailer park trash. I grew up with nothing. And the reason I can
Okay.
speak on this is because I was the only white person willing to work in the black work groups. That I had to eat. I had to work. And
Right.
it didn't bother me that I worked alongside black men. It didn't bother me. It bothered people in my dad's generation. It bothered them, right? But it didn't bother me. And I got a lot of slack over it too, because you know how white people are just used to be that way. I don't know any more white people that are like that anymore. I don't associate with them. But you understand what I'm trying to say
Yeah,
is
I
that
get it. I get it.
you're right.
But like I said, I
I
think the
agree.
biggest
I agree.
the biggest issue that you stated is it happened in your lifetime, which means that people who did this and people who were victimized by it are still alive. And I'm not here to say what the solution is, but I do know, just like if a woman has been assaulted, that person has to take their own amount of time to heal, which is why I said for us to get past this, the victims of it need to die off. You can't tell a victim, well, you need to get over what happened to you. I think that's where the problem is.
But I can't. I personally can't get. I mean, I can't do anything but control my own behavior. Right.
True. True.
I can't control other people's behavior. It'd be like my grandparents that are still alive, right? I'm never going to convince them of their right to not be racist in their thoughts and then their actions. They just have to die.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
And then
being
if it,
honest. I say this about when you hear folks say that Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson are racist. My response is they probably are. But when you look at the lifespan of an Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson, how many lynchings or wrongful incarcerations have they attended? These guys have seen the absolute worst of white people. They probably both, Jackson and Sharpton, have both probably received over 1 million death threats each. They got to die. They just simply have to die off. They're never going to get past racism because they've been victimized and they've seen the worst of it that anyone could ever imagine. So,
Mhm.
yeah, are they racist? Probably so.
Well, can we agree on this though? That
Yeah,
if you're 18 years old and you're African American, it's never been so good to be an African American today than at any point in this country.
that is spot on. I agree with that 100%, which is often why you hear a lot of African Americans ask the question in regards to this hat: when was America great? Because I say the same thing, that if you're African American, right now is the best time you have ever had in this country. There is not a single day in history that you would want to go back to, which is why we always question, what do you mean by make America great again? Because, yeah, going backwards doesn't seem appealing to a lot of African Americans.
Oh, well, and it doesn't. It's not appealing to me either. I don't want to live like my grandparents lived. Right?
Right.
I'm better off today than my grandparents ever lived. Even my
Fair enough.
parents. Even. Fair enough, right? I
I
mean,
think we, I think most of us are, but I got to move it on, but I'll give you the last word. But I will say this for you being white. I don't know if I totally agree that you're better off today because let's just be honest. If we went back to the 50s and you wanted to be a police officer or you wanted to be a captain at the fire department or something like that, when you put your application in, you didn't have to compete with me. In 2022, you do now. So there's less jobs, less opportunities, and less resources available for you because now you got to compete with all these other groups of people you didn't used to have to worry about. So I don't know if I quite agree that it is better for white people because sharing is a
well, yeah.
reduction in quality.
Well, fair enough. Fair enough. I can get on that statement. What I can say is, in today's day, right? If I were an African American, I wouldn't want to get a job just because I was African American. I would want to get that job because I earned it or because I deserve it, and for no other reason.
Well, I agree with you. You should want a position based on merit, but you are going to have a hell of a lot of African Americans that are going to push back and say, well, white people didn't mind getting a job just because they were white. But I do agree with your point. You want to get a job based on merit, not on skin color. But we do realize that the vast majority of American history, white people got jobs simply because they were white.
Right, right. But I don't think there's any white people out here today complaining, oh man, that African American guy got the job just because, and I didn't, and I'm so angry. No one's saying that.
Yeah, they
I mean,
are. I get on this channel every day. I
I
gotta
don't know.
move it
I don't know.
on.
It's not me complaining. I'll tell you that. I'm the master of my own destiny. So well,
Right.
it was good talking to you.
Absolutely. Come on back through anytime. Really good talk. All right. Looking in the comments. I always say, folks, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with the host. Who gives a shit? First Amendment free speech rights are always protected here. Nobody gets banned, blocked, or censored because they got a difference of opinion. There are a hell of a lot of places you can go on social media that are echo chambers. A bunch of liberals speaking negatively of Republicans, all agreeing to the same shit. Or you can go to a place on social media where everybody's wearing a red hat and every liberal is a socialist. We don't do that here. Everyone, regardless of opinion, is allowed to speak. Looking in the comments, yes, they do. They complained about black kids taking slots from white kids at universities. Yeah, I get a lot of folks on. In fact, I've done a couple programs titled, Is affirmative action outdated. My beloved MAGA audience overwhelmingly believe affirmative action was outdated. A lot of folks believed out affirmative action was outdated the day they implemented it. There were people who were against it from day one. So yeah, I would disagree with the previous caller there, but it was a good conversation. My name is Kitten, a friend of the program. Kitten,
What's
welcome
up,
back, folks.
Anthony Liberals?
Hang on a second. Hold on a second, Kitten. Folks, tap the screen.
How
Let
are
your
you, man?
thumbs not be lazy. Get your boy up to 5,000 likes. What's going on, Kitten?
What's up, man? I mean, I don't know if the last caller ever heard of something called replacement theory. Marjorie
Oh,
Taylor Greene goes on TV talking about all the time how immigrants are going to take your jobs, they're going to take spots from your students in school. So I don't know if the guy watches the news or not, but there's literally
yeah,
right-wing politicians on TV every day speaking about replacement theory. So,
yeah,
happens all the
yeah.
time.
Well, fortunately, you would agree, though, fortunately, that most Caucasians are not represented by Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is far right.
Yeah, no, I'll agree to that. She represents
Okay.
a significant portion of the conservative base, though.
I don't know. I don't. When you take conservatives that live in, I mean, because there are conservatives in every state. I would say if you go in some of the liberal states, the New Jerseys, they have a conservative base. They have a conservative base in California. I don't know if they would buy into what Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying. I think you got to be pretty far to the right to start. I mean, space lasers and some of the shit she talks about. She's a QAnon type. There's a lot of folks that are conservative. You think Liz Cheney is down with Marjorie Taylor Greene?
No, I think Liz Cheney is a war criminal, though.
Okay, different argument, but okay, we can talk about that. So, what do you think in 2022? Do you believe skin color still plays a significant part in this country?
Of course. I mean, you have black people being offed at significant rates by policemen every day. I mean, just watch TYT. Go on to TYT when Dr. Ritchie's on, and he'll show you all these things happening every day where black people are being violently oppressed and unalived by police officers. I mean, you really have to bury your head in the sand at this point not to see what's going on. You have to purposely ignore it.
Well, but then I have to push back and ask you, why do you believe? Because I see in the comments a lot of my folks are saying, "Oh, stop it," and no, it plays no part. Why do you believe there's so many on the conservative side of the aisle that disagree and believe that we are in a post-racial society?
Well, they believe they want whites to maintain power in this society. That's their a lot of their objective. I won't say every conservative, but a lot of the Republican Party wants to keep white people in power. They fear that white people will be a
But they
minority in the next.
gave, but they gave Ben Carson a shot at running for office. They tried to push Herschel Walker. Tim Scott is a well-known senator that is literally in position to potentially run for office. I mean, they do promote some black people.
Yeah, look at the quality of those people. Ben Carson was a fine surgeon. He's a moron at being a politician. Herschel Walker was a fine football player. He's a moron at being a politician. Why do they get people of that quality? Because they love people who will go against their own race and their own interests. Why do you think they like Candace
Yeah,
Owens so much? It's
yeah.
not that they love Candace Owens, right?
Yeah, that's a point. I'd like to play devil's advocate oftentimes, but that's a point that I cannot deny is that for some strange reason, and maybe you folks in the comments, and you can even tell me, Kitten, as well. Why is it that when an African American becomes a conservative or Republican, as opposed to just actually presenting conservative values, they tend to attack the black race to a significant level? Why is that?
Well, that's the I mean that's the Republican agenda. I mean, let's not. I mean, they may try to skirt around it or whatever, but Republicans work very hard to suppress minority votes. They work very hard to keep. I mean, Josh Hawley is a proponent of making abortions illegal because he wants white people to have more babies.
Yeah, I had an African American tell me that too. I actually had a debate with an African American conservative that said the same thing in regards to wanting black people to have more babies. But make no mistake about it, regardless of race, it does appear to be that a big push behind the anti-abortion movement is to use women to create more children. I do believe that. That does seem to be apparent.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the last time they had complete control in government, all they did was pass tax cuts for the rich. That's all they did.
Then why are there so many Trump supporters that are, middle class or low income? If the tax cuts and he only did things for the wealthy, why do you believe so many folks at the working class level, definitely Reverend Trump, favor Trump as a really good president? I've had people tell me Trump is the best president in U.S. history. How could that
Well,
be if he's only doing for the rich?
Well, if they were really interested in improving their lives, they wouldn't vote for people like Mitch McConnell or Rand Paul anymore, right? They're interested in who Trump is going to attack for them, not what policies and how he's going to improve their lives. They want him to attack minorities. They want him to attack the tech companies, the people that they don't like. That's why they
Mm.
stand behind Trump, not because they actually believe in his policies, but because he attacks the people that they don't like.
Well, I can't agree. I gotta move it on, but I cannot agree that they don't like his policy. I mean, the wall and things like that. They do like his
I
policies,
mean,
but
that's red meat for the base. The whole
okay.
wall thing, Mexico's going to pay for it. The reason he said Mexico's going to pay for it is because they don't like Mexicans and they want them to pay for this wall, right? That's what it's about.
All right, kid, you coming hard. All right, I gotta move it on. Good talk,
All
man.
right.
Appreciate
Have
you
a good
coming
one,
through.
man.
All
Happy
right.
New Year.
Now, no mistake about it. I've said it before that this, certainly this is a MAGA friendly program. In fact, my preferred guests are MAGA. We're getting some liberals, but if you represent the right side of the aisle, appreciate that. Thank you for that cap in that TikTok cap. I didn't see it because I was going to respond to a question. Beverly Pinfound says Candace Owens is not against black people. Listen, I can't speak to what's in the woman's heart. However, it does seem suspicious that she is on the opposing side of almost every issue that the black community talks about. I can't think of any one major issue that the African American community, I can't even get my words out, that the African American community is concerned with that Candace Owens is also on the same side of. I think she literally just picks the opposing side because it is fodder for her 15 minutes, 20 minutes of fame or whatever she's doing. But she's a very intelligent woman. I actually listen to some Candace stuff. I don't agree with her on most of it, but she's an intelligent woman. She knows what she's doing. All right, going is Stacey Dash. I see that feed. Yeah, Stacey Dash's history. Piano Man. Let's make it happen. Is skin color. Is skin color a major issue in 2022, or are we in post-racial America?
Skin color is more important now, or I should say, more of a topic and a target on people than it used to be.
Elaborate.
Well, you were talking about Candace Owens, right?
Yeah.
And she's on the opposite side of the black communities most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a 64-year-old white guy. I feel more black than she does.
Yeah, it ain't hard. It's not hard to be more African American than Candace Owens.
I care more about the black. It seems like I care more about the black community than she does. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, but how do you respond to people who suggest she's actually not against the black community? She's just trying to wake us up and make us do better.
They like her. That's why. I mean, she's a very beautiful woman, in my opinion.
Yeah, she looks good.
She seems very intelligent.
I think she is.
But I think she's hopping on the coattails of a certain guy to make herself more prominent and financially secure. And she's finding a niche because of what is being laid forth to her. She may not believe it, but she's capitalizing on it.
Yeah, she's doing it. Well, I would just tell you, even coming from my own point of view, like when the Biden administration was doing far worse than they are now, and I'm not here to pretend like Biden is like a great president, but
Right.
the economy and the gas prices right now in December are a hell of a lot better than they were in March. In March, if for any of you guys who follow me regularly, you will know I was speaking very negative of President Biden because I
And we
blame
should.
him. Yeah, even if it's some of this is global, he's in charge of the country. So I was holding Biden accountable for the way this country is doing financially and often comparing how much better a large portion of the Trump economy was to Biden. Now that the things are getting better, and I'm giving Biden credit for he's bringing us out of some of this shit, a lot of folks on the right think I'm becoming too far to the left. But I'll tell you, as you said with Candace Owens, when I was heavily criticizing Biden, my own personal popularity, the donations to the channel, everything was better. So there certainly is a benefit if an African American criticizes liberals and African Americans. She's found a niche.
That's what I said. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I've listened to you enough to where you call out both sides and you're fair in your assessments on both sides. And
I tried.
that's why I like coming back to your broadcast. Okay?
Thank you.
You're fair. Now, unlike myself, I'm intelligent. There are some people that you bring up who are really stupid.
I let the people speak. I have to let the people speak.
Exactly. And you do. And the thing is, there have been some people who've been on your talking who have really said some outrageous, idiotic, and immoral, unethical comments, and you let them do it.
Yeah, I let the people speak. Like I say all the time, I don't ban anyone because there are folks who may hear you and I and think we're total idiots. So I don't. Yeah, I don't believe anybody's opinion should be protected over someone else's. I do believe everyone should speak, and that's why. Because I hear on every broadcast, why the hell do you have a MAGA hat on? And that's the whole purpose of the hat is that I want to
Yeah,
show folks
52
that
cents. Like this guy here, he says 52 cents. The guy you had on yesterday, he
yeah,
was an idiot.
52.
He was an idiot.
52 never disappoint. Yeah, 52 is definitely MAGA. I consider him a friend of the program, but yeah, we don't agree on anything.
And
But yeah,
and with me, when you've had me on, I've given you evidence of what I'm saying. There's evidence that I say that is verifiable, and it's right there in front of our faces. There are people that come on your show who just say whatever, and there's no verification of anything.
yeah.
You know,
Well,
and
they believe passionately in their mind. They have verification. Just like with the 2020 election, they believe that they have verification. So, it is what it is. But I do got to move it on,
all right,
Piano
buddy.
Man.
Thanks for letting me up, bro.
Hey,
I love
hey,
watching
I
you, man.
appreciate you coming through.
I love
Thank you.
watching
Thank
you.
you very much. Now, real quick in the comments, I guess I gotta give the damn spiel for the hat once again. I've probably been called an Uncle Tom, an Uncle Ruckus, or a sellout at least many times on this particular broadcast. The purpose of the hat. Even though I lean left, the purpose of the hat is to show folks on the right, particularly my beloved MAGA viewers, that I give you a fair shake here. I strongly believe that the mainstream media and even some of the media that claims to lean right does not give right wingers, certainly MAGA, a fair shake. So the purpose of the hat is my light in the middle of the night to say you're welcome here, even if we disagree. Your opinion will be protected here. That is the purpose of the damn hat. All right, looking in the comments. Conspiracies are conspiracies. Come down to earth to Republicans' children. Wow. Candace Owens says there's no racism, yet sued her college for racism. Like I said, Candace Owens is smart. She's making money. But yeah, her opinions, I probably will disagree with Candace on about 90% of the things she says. I think she's playing to an audience, and it is bidding her very well financially. So I can't hate on the woman, but yeah, I don't. But that's the question we're asking as I go back to the box. I won't bloviate too much longer. Oh, that was nice. Who the hell just sent me that? Appreciate that. Corn Star. G-Ma, thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks for the love. Tap your screens. Get your boy up to 15,000 likes. Let your thumbs not be lazy. As always, MAGA-friendly program. Liberals are welcome too. Going straight back to the box, it is Archibald's Bulldog. I think this is a new caller. I don't. Before, have we, Archibald?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good. Have we spoke before?
No, I've heard
Okay,
you.
fair enough. No big deal. So, what do you think? Do you believe that skin color still matters in 2022?
Yeah, I mean, I think it does. To your point about.
You're real low. I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Is this better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. So, I kind of wanted to cover, DE and I, because I think I work for a pretty big corporation, and we don't necessarily like hire based on inclusion or diversity, but
Okay.
if we have like two people, one being, has no diversity and the other one having diversity, and they're equal, right? We're going to choose the person that has that diverse background, right?
Okay.
And I think, in this particular environment that we're in, I think most corporations do look at all that stuff. I think most of the diversity conversations are perpetuated by big corporations, honestly, because they want people to buy their products, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, if you could sell me an iPhone for cheap, I don't care if blacks or whites made it. I don't know if people purchase products based on if a company is making, making diversity decisions in hiring. Most people just want cheap shit. I don't know if that makes a big difference.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I hate to say it, but I think sometimes it's also just for show, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you get on Twitter and see an advertisement, and it's a diversity type advertisement for some big corporation, they just want everyone to know that they care, right?
Right.
But I don't know that it's it's more about looking good than it is actually playing the
Oh
part
yeah,
to lift people
you're
up.
trying to present an image, but we know that child labor coming out of China is responsible for a hell of a lot of American products. So clearly, corporations do not give a damn about morality. So
No.
yeah, they may want to produce a decent image, but if they can make money doing the immoral, they will choose the immoral every time.
Yeah. Look at Cobalt right now, mining for
Yeah, that's
Cobalt.
really bad. Yeah, that I
Yeah.
saw a Joe Rogan video on that the other day, how they're mining that over in the Congo or whatever it is. Yeah, that's really bad.
Yeah. It's like the old diamond stuff, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, but people still bought diamonds.
I know, and
So so
I'm
I don't think
using an
people care.
iPhone right now, right?
Yeah,
So I mean,
right.
we're all kind of part of the problem when it comes to that stuff.
So why do you think so many folks on the right, as opposed to the left, will often suggest that skin color in America is not a major issue anymore?
I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I would call myself a liberal, like a traditional liberal.
Okay.
So my thought is like, and I don't know how old you are, but I'm 45, so I grew up in the 90s, and
Okay.
we really tried hard not to look at skin color, right? Like that was how I was.
What part of the country are you from?
I'm from Oklahoma, believe it or not.
Really? Okay. All right.
Yeah, believe it or not, grew up in the Bible Belt, so I'm not religious at all, but I definitely grew up around a ton of religion. But I think that they're holding on to that stuff, and I'm not saying it's wrong to not see color, but at the same time, you have the other side that says, "Hey, look at me, I matter. Look at my history. Look at the things that my ancestors have been through." And I think that we have to also acknowledge that as well. We have to acknowledge people's journey, and we have to acknowledge that there is systemic racism in America.
So, are you saying that when the right continues to say that there is no major issue in America with racism anymore, they're refusing to see what's
Yes.
actually there?
Yeah. Because I honestly, I don't think that the majority of Republicans are racist. I just don't think that they understand what, diversity means and why we're talking about it. They think that it's like some red herring to try to get people to vote a certain way. And
Yeah,
the
but
reality
okay,
is
let's look at it this way. If you go to a Democratic rally, convention, gathering, and then you go to a Republican convention, rally, or gathering, the lack of diversity at the Republican events is stark. Now, that's not to say there's nobody of color there, but when you look at what the Democratic events look like compared to what the Republican events look like, what's causing that? Why are there so many people of color, whether they're black, whether they're Hispanic or Muslim or whatever? They seem to all go toward the Democratic Party. What's making them avoid the Republican Party like the plague?
I mean, I'm not really sure, honestly. I get on TikTok and I see a ton of diversity within right-leaning, debates, but at the same time, those are the most, popular people. I'm sure you've seen them all. I've seen you on a
Yeah,
few of them, right?
yeah, I go to some of them.
But you're right in that there is there isn't a whole lot of diversity at a Trump rally.
No,
I
it's
mean,
not.
there's
Yeah, I
yeah.
never could. I
So
gotta move. I gotta move it on. But before I do, I want to ask you one other question. Because in the comments, user 3807 is saying, in regards to my question about why people of color avoid the Republican Party, he's saying that it's because they're easily brainwashed. I mean, is it possible that people of color just have a different, cerebral cortex that they
no,
cannot see things as well as white people, and they're easier to brainwash?
that's pretty racist for whoever said that to say, in my opinion.
All right. As long as you saw it, as long as you saw it too, but I do give folks a chance to speak. I gotta move it on
All
though,
right,
man.
take care,
Good
buddy.
talk, Archibald. All
All right,
right, and come on
later.
back to anytime. All right, looking at the comments real quick, and we'll keep it moving. Too many just vote on a party, not their beliefs. That is absolutely true. A lot of folks vote based on what their parents and grandparents told them. A lot of women vote based on what their husbands are telling them, et cetera, et cetera. However, that happens on both sides of the aisle. I'm asking the question, what is causing people of color to overwhelmingly avoid the Republican Party? What happened? Because there's a lot of principles on the Republican side of the aisle that would certainly resonate with people of color. I mean, I grew up in a Baptist church. I grew up Christian. I'm not very affiliated now, but my family is strongly Christian based. And we know the Republican Party is far more tied to Christianity than the Democratic Party. So, and I will tell you this also, sometimes you might be ashamed to admit it, but being a child of the 70s and 80s, we all were anti-LGBT coming up. So I would also point that out in the belief that, marriage should be between a man or a woman, or there are only two genders. That resonates with the African American community. We have a hell of a lot of folks in our family that have served in the military. So there's no denying that a lot of the core beliefs, core principles of the conservatives would resonate with people of color as well. So what's causing people of color to avoid the Republican Party? There has to be something there. Can it be that we're all brainwashed? All people of color are just so, mentally out of it that the media can easily corrupt their mindset? It's some type of belief that does not deem the same way for white people. Whites are smart enough to negotiate the media, but blacks are not. What's causing the African American community, the Hispanic community, the Muslim community, and other communities of color to avoid that party? Tap the damn screen, get your boy up to 20,000 likes. Let's go back to the box. It is Scotty Landry. Good afternoon, Scotty. Republicans are most likely racist. Wow, says Zoo. Ouch. Scotty, I don't know what's happening with bringing you on. TikTok seems to have frozen. We'll keep it moving. Give you a second here. Lack of information, says Tag 4 Loco. Well, if there's lack of information, who's responsible for getting that information out there? Republicans want votes just like Democrats. If the Democrats seem to be winning all of the people of color voters, all of the minority voters, then could you blame it on the Republican Party for lack of outreach? I don't know. All right, looking at the comments, I don't know what happened with Scotty, but we'll move it on. Pappy Tom 1775. Hopefully MAGA. This is a MAGA friendly program. TikTok sometimes plays a bit flaky. By the way, keep tapping the screen. That will bring more MAGA to the program, hopefully. I don't know what's going on with the box, though. We'll try to see what happens.
How you doing?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, my side is acting flaky because I don't see you on the box, but we'll go ahead and engage in the conversation. So what do you believe in regards to folks that are suggesting that skin color still matters in 2022? Do you believe that's actually true, or is that, just coming out of the wrong way?
Well, my belief is that people pick a color for their favorite color, if you understand that. They
I don't get that.
They tend to vote for their home team. It's just as such as a football team. You move to a different city and you're closer to a different football team, you become that team. And if you understand the competition part of this, as of working with people, people of color, people, and there's a ton of different color. They need to quit this.
Wait. Let me interrupt you. I don't think, because I think you're taking it in a different direction. When I asked, does skin color matter? If you are a person of color navigating your way throughout American society, do you believe being a person of color will put you at any form of a disadvantage than being born white?
Yes.
Okay, elaborate. In what ways?
I truly believe that the minority, let's say, is fighting for their own, let's say, color of race, right? We are a human race, not a color of race. And that's what I'm trying to explain.